But first, I think we've just had a shocking reminder from Afghanistan that a country that doesn't believe in itself will not defend itself. So it's time that we fought back against this teaching of our children that this country is ugly, evil. The teaching to divide ourselves into tribes or races. There is some good news on that front today. Education Minister Alan Tudge has said that the proposed new national curriculum for our schools should be rewritten, must be. And not just because it promotes mad and bad teaching techniques for reading or for maths, but also because it is so anti our Western civilisation. Now, as Alan Tudge has written to the Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority, the overarching impression from this curriculum is that the main feature of Western civilisation is slavery, imperialism and colonisation. And he's right, the curriculum is foul. And teaching children to hate their country, I mean, now when it's right at this very moment, we see Afghans risking death, being shot in their desperation to get here and share our freedom. Teaching children that this society is in fact so rotten that the children who most resemble those who created it, white, Christian, predominantly male, should stand up in class to actually be abused as oppressors. It's insane, as I say, when people are desperate to get here and enjoy our freedoms. Now, I've given you so many similar examples of this hate preaching against Australia, including one earlier this week from South Australia. Education is teaching children to despise their history and Western heritage. And I've also given you examples of the attempts to divide us by race, the suicidal idiocy of so much preaching of our young, the self-hatred, the tribalism. Take academic Melita Hogarth, who identifies as Aboriginal, has a job as an Aborigine too, Assistant Dean Indigenous at the Melbourne Graduate School of Education, which teaches teachers. She wants the word English scrapped from the curriculum. She wants it called language arts instead. She says English is offensive. She complains it wasn't enough that First Nations people had been disposed of their lands, their children stolen, but also their languages were silenced, and it was dictated within the government-controlled missions that English should be spoken, a supposedly superior language, the language of the oppressor. And just to make sure you didn't know who the oppressor was, let's call that subject English. Dear God, no one said English was a superior language, although, now that I think of it, may well be, in fact, quite rich. Although I've got to concede Italian sounds better. But the reason it's our national language is because we needed one common language to help us all communicate with each other and create a community. And English was the obvious alternative. There's no common Aboriginal language for a start. There's 250 of them, or were. And they didn't have a written form or literature at the time. It had to be English. And we call English English because it is English as in from England. And it's not French as in from France, or German from Germany. Now, if you get offended by the word English, you are seriously looking for offence. But like so many activists pushing these messages and old resentments and cultural destruction, it seems that Hogarth may be just striking an attitude. In fact, she's since tweeted, after her views made news, "It appears that my provocation has upset some people. For those in the back rows, provocation is an action or speech that makes someone angry, especially deliberately." Well, I have to ask her whether provoking people into anger is actually a smart strategy. Provoking anger, pushing the idea, as others do, that we must divide by race, provoking anger by vilifying whites, as others do, and their culture. Where exactly do these people think all this will end? Because in physics, there is a law, Newton's third law, Western civilization, which says for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And the same, I fear, is true in race politics. Because in reaction to all this anti-white racism comes an equally ugly reaction, one that the left-wing 9 newspapers and Channel 9's 60 Minutes last weekend jumped on. Because finally, the left had created the racist white monsters it could now treat as a threat worse than, say, Islamist terrorism, extremists wanting a white revolution.
3 major Australian news teams in one explosive, clandestine operation. 8 months and deep undercover inside a toxic and rotting world of hate.
Wow, freaky, except 8 months of secret investigation and taping and all that revealed only this tiny band of white losers looking absolutely pitiful rather than fearsome revolutionaries about to destroy our society.
Make no mistake, this is evil in action.
It is my duty to be a warrior, to be fit, strong, and defend my people. It is my duty to speak the truth, no matter the consequence. I may die, but my blood lives forever. Until my end, this is my oath.
Now, I've had enough of them all. The race baiters and haters and provokers of the left and those morons on the far right. They feed off each other and they sicken us all. Look again, Afghanistan. That's what tribalism and hatred, ethnic divisions, and another culture, that's what you get. And look at all the Afghans desperate now to be here instead. And maybe it's time we taught our children it wasn't a fluke. We have this society so free. It wasn't some accident. And it sure is not evil. Cherish it.